Hi guys, welcome to another top 3 video. Today I'm going to run you through the best 3 Necron relics. If you haven't already guys, hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell in the corner so you know each time we release these videos. So let's get into it. Top 3 Necron relics. So in at number 3 for me is the Orb of Eternity. Now the Orb of Eternity is a relic version of a Resurrection Orb. It replaces a Resurrection Orb on a Lord or a Command Barge Lord or whichever Lord you fancy that has a Res Orb. And then what it does is once per game, it works in the same way as a Res Orb. It lets you re-an a unit that doesn't have full wounds in it in your command phase, but it gives you +1 to all of your reanimation rolls. Now, I think this is huge because warriors are a great way to play the game at the moment for Necrons, and blobs of 20 warriors with a Chronomancer giving them a 5-up invulnerable save, and then their own reanimation. For example, when they get shot in your opponent's turn, maybe you lose something like 15 warriors. Let's say your opponent does well and you lose 15 warriors from a squad of 20. Averagely, 5 of those should come back, and you should re-roll 3 ones for another one to come back. So you should get 6 back, and then you've only lost 9. But then in your movement phase, in your command phase, you can then use the Orb of Eternity on that unit, and averagely 5 of them should come back, re-rolling A1. Maybe that comes back. So 5 or 6 should come back again. So you're back up to a grand total of 16 to 17 warriors. So you've gone from 5 warriors all the way up to 16 or 17 because of this relic, and it can change the game if you use it in a key turn. It might mean that your opponent's whole shooting phase was used to kill 3 or 4 models, which is incredible. In at number 2 for me is the Void Reaper. Now, the reason why it's in at number 2 for me is there are so many units coming out that are insanely tough to kill. And then you've got units such as another Nightbringer. If your opponent brings a Catan, they can only lose 3 wounds per phase. If your opponent brings Ghazghkull to the table, he can only lose 4 wounds per phase. Or if your opponent brings anything with an ignores wound mechanic, like Revoltingly Resilient on Mortarion, and Disgustingly Resilient, the old one that people have on Plague Bearers and things like that, they can, take away from the damage potential of your units. And that's why I like the Void Reaper. It replaces a War Scythe on a character, and it gives them +2 strength, -4 AP, and flat 3 damage. Flat 3 damage is massive in the game right now anyway, because it kills things like Eradicators, Aggressors, Inceptors, Blade Guard, which there are so many of in the meta. And also, rules that ignore wounds cannot be used. So if you hit another Catan, and that Catan can only take 3 wounds per phase, that's because it ignores all of the wounds taken after the first 3. Well, it can't ignore them. So this is a way to kill an enemy Catan, which I really like. And it'll do the same to Ghazghkull, and anyone with a Feel No Pain can't take that Feel No Pain. A Feel No Pain is an after save, like Revoltingly Resilient on Mortarion. Those cannot be taken against this weapon. So that's why I think it's great. And also I would advise comboing it with a Warlord trait called Eternal Madness. Now Eternal Madness gives your character, whoever's got the Warlord trait, full rerolls to wound with melee attacks. Now, if you combo that with that relic, with the Void Reaper, it's really good because it makes him strength 7 and have full rerolls to wound. It just forces more wounds through. So that's in at number 2 for me. Number 1, I think, is an obvious one for Necrons. It's got to be the Veil of Darkness. Veil of Darkness is incredible. It's the most versatile one. It's the one with the biggest utility. It just allows you to pick up the bearer and a friendly Dynasty core unit within 3 inches of the bearer and redeploy them anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from the enemy. Now, redeploying is huge at the moment because the game is all about getting to key areas of the board and holding objectives. And of course, you have the Necron secondary, Purge the Vermin, which means you've got to stop the enemy being in certain quarters of the board, and sometimes you can't reach them. So if you've cleared them out of 2 quarters, for example, and they've got a unit in a 3rd quarter, you can pick up one of your units, bang them down, clear that quarter out, and you've got even more points for your secondary, which is really reliable anyway. And you've probably moved a 20-man squad over to an objective somewhere, or a Lich Guard unit. Now, What I would recommend as well is if you're taking this relic to get a Lich Guard unit up the board and into combat, then I would combo it, and the character who you put the Veil of Darkness on, I would also give him the Implacable Conqueror Warlord trait, because it allows core units within 6 inches of him to re-roll charge rolls. So if you have, for example, a Novok Lich Guard unit and he redeploys them with the Veil of Darkness, they will have an 8-inch re-rollable charge to get into combat. And I think that's insanely powerful. So those are my favorite 3 relics for Necrons. If you have any that you've been using and have been doing really well for you, please leave them in the comments below for everybody to share. And until the next video, guys, see you later.